Hi, let's start another session of Science Class 8, Chapter Cell. What is a cell? All animals and plants are living. All these organisms look different from each other. However, all of them are made up of a microscopic unit called cell. In this chapter, we will study the cell, its parts, and the functions of various parts of a cell. Discovery and history of cell. An English scientist, Robert Hooke, discovered the cell in 1665. He observed the slice of cork under his self-designed microscope. Cork is a part of bark of a tree. He took thin slices of a cork and observed them under the microscope, and he noticed a large number of compartments in a cork slice, resembling the structure of honeycomb. So he coined a term called cell for each box, in Latin, which means little room. Robert Hooke had actually seen the dead walls of the plant cells, and these cells had lost their living content and looked like little rooms. Wow! Cell is known as the basic structure and functional unit of life. Structure and function. What is the meaning of structure? Basic structure means smallest structure, the possible unit, smallest structure that can be possible in a body, in an organism, is the basic structure. And what is the meaning of functional? Means even a single cell, a smallest part which is somewhere in our body, can perform any specific function. So that is why we say a cell is a basic structural and functional unit of a life. These two pictures show us two different types of cells. One is a plant cell, which is onion peel, and the other is a cheek cell, which is the cell that is obtained from the inner side of your cheek. These are the two slide views under the compound microscope, where we see these are these plant cells. They are systematically arranged with a nucleus on one of the sides of the wall, near the wall, whereas these are small single cell that are present in the slide view with a central nucleus. Number of cells. What do you think? What is the number of cell that is present in our body? In a human body, if we are talking about. Yes, you guessed it right. It is around 50 to 75 trillion cells. And the cells that are present in our body, they are all of different shapes and sizes and functions. If you see a neuron, a nerve cell, it is a elongated cell. If you check a cardiac cell, it is a spindle-shaped cell. If you check a bone marrow and you are looking into the red blood cells, they are all round, spherical cells. So each and every cell has a different shape, they have a different size, and they are performing different function. Like the cells that are present in heart are responsible for beating of heart, whereas the neuron is not responsible for beating anything, but is responsible for passing the signal from one part of your body to the next. Maybe if I bring a pin near you, your hand is going to jerk back because the neurons are going to send the signals to your brain, and the brain is going to respond back to your signal. So nerve is performing a different function. So the number of cells that are present in our body is 50 to 75 trillion, and each and every cell that is present in our body is different in shape and size, and thus it performs a different function. Next slide is of the two categories of organisms that we have. The organisms can be divided into unicellular or multicellular. The unicellular organisms are the organisms that have only a single cell. You have heard of Amoeba. You have heard of bacteria. You have heard of paramecium. These days you are hearing about viruses. We won't talk about viruses though, but then we are talking about these organisms which are falling in the category of unicellular organisms. Why? Because they are single-celled organisms. The other category is multicellular organism, the organism consisting of more than one cell. These are all sorts of plants that are around us, and the animals, most of the animals. If you compare the unicellular and a multicellular organism, this is a euglena. It has a nucleus, it has all the components that a cell has and is capable of performing the various functions. Whereas the multicellular organisms have different types of cell, like this is the nerve cell, this is the red blood cell, this is the smooth muscle cell, these are the osteocytes that are present in the bone. So all of them are different cells that are present in our body, and all of them are going to perform different functions. Unicellular organism, amoeba. Let's take the first example of a unicellular organism in a little detail, that is amoeba. You have studied about amoeba already in class 7th when we were studying about nutrition in animals. We had done amoeba's nutrition there. The only thing that we have to remember here in this chapter is the pseudopodia. Pseudopodia is the outgrowth that is present in the amoeba, which helps it to move, to capture food, and to ingest the food out of the body. The other organism, microorganism or unicellular microorganism present in your syllabus is Paramecium. It's a slipper-shaped organism, and you have to just know the identification of it. So if we coming back to the amoeba, we all know amoeba can capture food, as we had done in class 7 also, ingestion. It undergoes digestion, it undergoes absorption, assimilation, and finally egestion. It can also do reproduction. Okay, so each single-celled organism not only doing digestion, egestion, excretion, growth, it is also performing reproduction. Now the shapes of cells. See, when we talk about cells, whether it is a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism, we are just talking of any cell. If now we talk about amoeba, we know amoeba is a shapeless organism. It is having irregular shape. It doesn't have a fixed shape. Why? Because of the pseudopodia, which is the outgrowth, the false feed that comes out of the body. Now when we talk about the cells that are present in human body, then body cells can be of different shapes. This is nerve cell. What shape do you think it is of? Yes, you're right. It is elongated cell. This is smooth muscle cell, spindle shaped. This is an ovum, oval shaped. These are WBCs. WBCs are irregular in shape. They don't have a regular shape. These are osteocytes, the bone cells, which are branched cells. So each and every cell that you see in this picture are of different shape. So the body has different n number of cells, and all the cells have different shapes. Size of the cell. Oh, what a pretty picture this is. Do you observe? Do you recognize which egg is this of? This is of an ostrich. And this is the duck or a hen's egg. See the difference in the size. The smallest egg, the small egg, and the largest egg possible. The smallest cell is of a bacteria, which is of 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer. This is the microplasma, which is a kind of bacteria. The largest cell is of the ostrich egg, 170 mm into 130 mm. In our body, the smallest cell is of RBC, red blood cell is the smallest cell of our body. And the longest cell of human body, can anyone guess? Yes, you are right. You are intelligent. Nerve cells, that is neurons. So nerve cell is the largest cell, whereas RBC is the smallest cell. Funny question. Are the cells in an elephant larger than a rat? What do you say? Yes or no? My answer is no. The size of the cell has no relation with the size of the body of the animal. Whether you're talking about an ant or you're talking about a dinosaur, you're talking about a mice or you're talking about an elephant, it has no specific relation with the size of the cell. The size of the cell is related to its function, not to the size of the animal. A nerve cell, both in elephant and rat, are long and branched. They perform the same function. So at the end of this PPT, I will just like to say and ask you all to please revise and go through this again, read your NCERT thoroughly, and then be prepared for the next topic that I'm going to cover, which is the components of cell, various components or parts of cell. See you till then. Thank you.